Hi, everyone. Tony Martinez here with Latino Tax Pro. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. We have another great webinar, and today's webinar is with our partner, Thomson Reuters. Tony Martinez here with Latino Tax Pro. And actually, let me lower this. There we go. Sorry about that. We're also live on YouTube. For those of you that are on YouTube right now, you're going to get this presentation, and it's going to sit there as well. So I want to introduce Germán with Thomson Reuters. Germán, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, and we're excited because I know we've been getting questions about Checkpoint, what it is, how it works, but it all has to do with getting you the right answers during tax season and after tax season. We get confused with searching for different topics and information, especially with the tax law changes. So I'm excited to see how Checkpoint works and how Thomson Reuters could help you with that. So with that said, Germán, take it away.
Okay, very good, Tony. And again, welcome, everyone. It's really my pleasure to be here today. So the first thing we're going to talk about is just the flyer, just to introduce everyone to what Checkpoint is. And as you can see it right on the screen, it's actually called the Checkpoint Tax Preparer Package for Latino Tax Pro members. As you can see there, actually will list all the contents that this package will have. And we'll go into the website in a minute and show pretty much where everything resides. But here you'll notice you have your 1040, 1065. These are pretty good guides on how go on and prepare these returns, answer all the questions. Here you have your news updates, 5 different newsletters to keep you current, and obviously tons of primary source materials, things such as code, regs, cases, rulings, IRS practice, the Internal Revenue Manual, and obviously different tools, right? So here on the second page of the flyer, then we have a little bit more detailed information, all right? And then the code, and as you can see, it's actually a pretty good deal, the package itself, and what will be for you, for the member of the Latino Tax Pro. Okay, so let's go in and let's talk about the site itself. Let me go ahead and share Checkpoint, and we'll go right from there. So what is Checkpoint? Like I mentioned yesterday, if you were attending the Facebook presentation, Facebook Live, Checkpoint is a website. So all you need is a user ID, need a password. You can bookmark it, obviously, in your computer to make it easier to get to it in the future. We also have a small program here called a Speed Link that will create an icon on your desktop and go right from there. And obviously here we have some other resources, such as a demo if you want to look at that, quick reference cards, so on and so forth. Once you log in, let me see, once you log in, you will get to see Checkpoint itself. And like I mentioned before, you can actually look at Checkpoint in very different ways. And we're going to get started with the homepage. And by the way, can everybody see my screen? Can you see the screen, Tony?
Yes.
Fantastic. Just making sure. So once we are on the home page, if you notice here, we have a section called My Quick Links. And within My Quick Links, let's take a look at titles, because when you go into titles, that's pretty much where you will find a listing of your subscription in alphabetical order. Checkpoint is not only used for tax preparers, it's also used at the corporate level, law firms, the IRS uses Checkpoint, many government agencies, state revenue, and Checkpoint not only has tax, it has accounting, it has auditing, it has pension and benefits, international. So just imagine Checkpoint like being a very, very big supermarket, but you will only see what it is in your shopping cart, right? You can just go ahead and say, I need this from Checkpoint, and go right from there. So let's go in more detail, and let's take a look at these 2 desk books, 1040 and 1065. The purpose of these are basically to go in and to help you with the tax return preparation. So here, if we go into more detail, you notice you have these display levels. You can always expand the view, collapse the view, and from there, it's going to give you a very good explanation of all the topics. Let me go up a little bit again. See, about the authors, list of changes from year to year, filing status, dependency, Yesterday we had a question about dependency tests and, who can be still a dependent and who cannot. So when you look at all these chapters, everything will be very specific and will be explained in pretty good detail. If I go in, for example, into rules for dependent statuses, I can go in, read all the rules, and remember, all this information is current. That's one of the main things of Checkpoint, that is always current, and it will have links, as you can see here, into code section, regs, additional sections of your publication, right? Private letter rulings, so on and so forth. So I can always go in, click on a different link, and go right from there if it is needed. When you are in desk books on the or in Checkpoint, remember you will have cautions, you will have examples. That's another big thing. See, a special support test for students, regular support test for qualified child, and you also will have different cautions helping you along the way. In the desk books, you will find what we call tools. Those could be Excel worksheets. This could be, sometimes client letters. And you can also find them all on this right-hand section of the screen where it says tools. You can click on this. If I open this worksheet, it is going to appear in Excel Online. And then after that, you can easily download it to your computer and use it over and over again. Okay, so it's very easy to work with, very easy to store. Everything obviously customized, ready to go for you. If you want to read more of your specific desk book, maybe you want to jump to another section, you have this button here called Contents. So I go back to my entire desk book. And as you can see there, I have then all the different issues, or I can go straight to my desk book again and start all over. Again, this would be one approach. If you want to say, hey, I'm interested just on everything related to depreciation, I want to read my desk book and see what it says about it. Okay? Just like having a book and going over it. Obviously, we can do a keyword search, and we'll try that in a minute. But remember here that towards the end of the desk book, you have quick reference tables. See that? Forms and publications, interest rate, deductions tables, quick access federal data, tons and tons of practice aids to help you with all the questions that you might have. This one here will have all the information for you for the last 3 years. Also, if you go into the worksheets, you will have then all the different Excel files, or also some files in Word. See here, like adjustment, income, so on and so forth. Carry forward schedule for home mortgage points, or utilization of NOL carry forwards or carry backs. So all these, again, having them in Excel will make it a lot easier, so you don't have to go and recreate the wheel. All right, do we have any questions so far?
Yeah, I don't see any questions. Again, those of you that are on YouTube Live and Facebook, please type in the questions and we can help you out.
All right, fantastic. So let's go back and also take a look at some of the things that we can do once we find information, because not only Checkpoint is designed to give you answers, but it's also going to help you organize your workflow. So let's say that I'm working on whatever topic it is. Let's pick this tax treatment of the loans. And this is important for one of my clients. One of the things that I can do is go in and save it into a folder. Right? So where do I find the folders in Checkpoint? They are located right here towards the top of the screen. You can go ahead and you have one folder when you log in, but you can create as many as you want. So maybe we can create a folder for, I don't know, XYZ Corporation, for example. Or XYZ client, whatever works for you. All right, if I know how to spell this, there you go. You can also put notes here. You'll remember what you save or what you created this client to begin with. And all the notes that you put in will appear at the beginning of the document. It will make it a lot easier because you can remember, oh, this is the client that I'm working with for, opening the new retail store, or this is the client that I'm working on mortgage, whatever it is. So you can easily go ahead and recognize right at the beginning why you have this information to begin with. Another idea will be to go ahead and highlight. So you can highlight inside the page, get your notes together, and have them on the side of the screen. If you decide to, let's say you want to download this into PDF or Word, some of these will go into Excel. Then you are going to have the notes that you put in at the beginning. You're also going to have your highlights, and you're going to see links towards the end of the page. So in other words, you can annotate this as much as you want. It's a great convenience because sometimes you might say, oh, I go to this website, I go to this other to find information. But how you're going to store it, how you can put notes inside Checkpoint, you can go ahead and take advantage of all this. All the notes that you put in actually going to stay in this section of the program. Everybody see it, called notes. So you can have as many notes as you want. Keep your information together. If you go into folders, there you go. You will have your folders there. You can drag and drop. And again, just go ahead and before you begin your research, go ahead and set up a folder for your client. Start doing all the research, put all the information together in one place. So when you finish, when you return, you can go ahead and export all these files into PDF, for example, and attach them to that return. So not only you have the return completed, you will have all the notes and all the research needed in case you have a question from the IRS, you have a question from the client, you will know exactly how to answer to any situation. All right? Questions about that? Everybody doing okay?
Yeah. Thank you for being so thorough. Again, if anybody has any questions about how it works, let us know. We have about 6 people on the actual Zoom webinar and about 20 on the YouTube. So yeah, looks like you're good so far, Herman. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. So don't forget, here you have then, like I mentioned before, how to work with your 1040, how to prepare your 1065. Here you have Checkpoint archives. Don't forget this. If you have to prepare, maybe you just have a new client and he hasn't filed anything since 2014. You can easily go in and see the content, see the explanation, see the law, pretty much see everything the way it was written in that year. Very, very important because then you can easily go on, catch up, make sure you prepare all the returns for that client. Okay? If we continue with this list, you will have then code, cases, rulings, and obviously you will see the new law, right? That all of us are talking about TCJA and everything else. Sometimes you might say, hey, this is a long list. I want to go in and just type something in here. And you can see it in the site navigator. Just put in there TCJA or let me see, tax, you can go on and actually find different things. See, like the analysis of the tax legislation or anything like that, right? You can go on and find it. Here it is simply taking us into all the different pieces of tax legislation, but we have in here a specific section for TCJA. Let me go straight towards the bottom of your page here. Let's see, it is called the Tax Cuts and Job Act, News, Analysis, and Tools. So all this section here is only related to TCJA. It's just to give you all the pieces of legislation, the legislation itself, all the analysis, as you can see there, new law, a special study, something specific on qualified business income, right? That sometimes we have many questions about that. And obviously the entire act, tools only for TCJA, things such as a choice of entity tax analyzer, kitty tax calculator, so on and so forth. So all you have to do, if you like to browse, again, just go to the homepage, go to titles, just take a peek and see everything that is available in your subscription. Now, there are a couple more things here. Obviously, you have all the publications, rulings, IRS practice, which is information directly from the IRS or provided to the IRS employees, such as the Internal Revenue Manual, MSSP training guides, right, that deal with pretty much different industries. If you want to learn what is the take from the IRS into different industries when you have an audit, this is actually a really good guides to read, and some others, see, Internal Revenue Manual, so on and so forth. Last in this list, you have tax-related identity theft guide. I know it's a very big topic, how we can prevent identity theft. So this guide here will give you all different advice, topics, ideas, things like that of how to protect your client identity. And for anything international, don't forget that you also have tax treaties in force, pretty much with United States, with the rest of the world. So you happen to, maybe you need to go ahead and see the law in Mexico or see the law in Brazil or any other. You can easily go in, look at the program, and here it is going to have a listing of all the tax treaties, analysis, and things like that needed to help you with your research. So let's take a look at Mexico. It has income tax, intergovernmental agreements, so on and so forth. So again, all you have to do is drill down. All right, so let's move on, because sometimes you might say, but Hermane, all I want to do is go on, just do a search. I go to Google and want to find my answer, and that's all I care. Well, in Checkpoint, you pretty much can do the same thing. All you have to do is to click on search, which is the second tab here. And when you are in search, you're actually going to have a different drop down. See, for federal, that is the main piece of your subscription. You have a little bit of estate planning and a little bit of pension and benefits. Remember what I said at the beginning? You basically see your shopping cart, but Checkpoint can give you, if you need everything in California, in Florida, New York, anything like that, you can always add pieces to your Checkpoint subscription and have a separate login with all that information. That is all available in Checkpoint. Today, we're just showing what is available in your package. But here, if we go into federal, we can either say, hey, I have a question on dependents. I have a question on something simple. Let's say, I want to check the mileage rate. So the program will go in and give you a couple of tips here. The first one is called quick tax amounts. And quick tax amounts is more like tables of rates, where you can click on this and it easily just will give you a summary of all the different rates for the last 3 years. So you can double check and make sure that everything looks okay. What about Social Security? Something like that. Maybe you have a question on Social Security limits, or maybe you want to have a good overview. So there you go. And it's showing you, see, maximum earnings, needed to earn 1/4 of coverage, disability, SSI, so on and so forth. So it doesn't matter what you type, just make it simple. Let's see, education credits or anything like that. And if you see something under quick tax amounts, please make sure you go in and simply click on the answer. And what the program is going to do is just to give you the last 3 years of information on anything related to that. The other piece that you will find is orientation documents. Sometimes we just want to get a summary of something and say, all right, I want to learn more ITINs. Okay, so let's try something like this. And when we go into answer path, the individual taxpayer identification numbers. So now just by typing that, we can go ahead and learn the basics on ITINs, EINs, so on and so forth. And if we need additional information, we can actually go back and scroll down and look at the other links and resources available. Okay, so all these will show up without having to do a search. But if I go in and say, oh, I actually want to search this topic, ITIN application or child credit or any other, I can go ahead and just type it in, do my search, and that's what the program is going to do. It's just going to show you where you will have different pieces or different answers related to your topic. So here we go into the desk books. This one is dealing with the dependency tests. And from there, I can easily go in and use these arrows, to see where my answer is located or where is the paragraph that might mention what I'm looking for. So Social Security numbers required for dependents. We can go in, read in more detail all the information about ITINs. Here, you have questions. If we want to continue clicking on this, it will go into the next item. Also, we can go into tools to see if there are any, any checklist, client letters, anything like that, or go back to contents and find pretty much all the other relevant information related to your topic. As you can see there, child tax credit, qualifying dependent, refundable additional child tax credit, so on and so forth. So it's a very easy way to go in, enter your question. If you want to be very specific, let's go ahead and do ITIN application. Go ahead and put it in quotes, just like you do it on the internet. If you put something in quotes, it is going to be more specific. And from there, see here.
So can you repeat that, Herman? So the fact that it's in quotes, it makes it more specific, he said? Or?
That is correct. Absolutely, Tony. Yeah, every time you go to any website, Google, Bing, or Yahoo, anything, including Checkpoint, whatever you put in quotes is going to make it very specific. Everybody see the difference here?
Oh, so it's actually looking for those terms. Oh.
That's right. That's right. And again, you can do this pretty much with any website. This is a Boolean connector. This is standard of the web. But whatever you put in quotes will make it a lot easier. And okay. You can see there, ITIN application for ITINs, individual taxpayer identification number application process, so on and so forth. So just keep an eye on that. Whatever you need to be very specific, go ahead and do it this way. And there are some other tricks that maybe you need ITIN within 5 words of credit. Let's try something like this. So it's not necessarily a phrase. You just want the 2 words to be close to each other. Right? So when you do that, both words are going to be there. See? ITIN, credit, ITIN, credit, so on and so forth. So you can just tell the program, hey, I just want this keyword with another keyword, but in a certain order. So having these connectors will help. Now, where do I find all these clues of where to go ahead and make my keyword search more productive? If you click here under the Source Query Tool, you're going to see a list of connectors. And all these, by the way, or most of these will work with Google, Yahoo, or Bing, or any other website. It might have different variations, but you see them there. You see preceding one or the other in the same sentence, or I would say the most common one is putting things in quotes. And also, at least for Checkpoint, I really like this in the same sentence, this idea and this other idea close to each other. All right, so like an exchange and let's say in the same sentence as vacation rental or anything like that, it's only going to look for those 2 ideas close to each other. All right, that's good. Everybody see that? Vacation rental and like an exchange. So pretty much learning how to use the connectors, you can get anything you want from the internet or pretty much anything you want from Checkpoint. Okay, great. Any questions so far?
See any questions here? I don't see. Oh, I see one that says, they're asking to type something in. If you could type in, how do I renew an ITIN?
How do I renew? And
Yeah, the ITIN, yeah.
the ITN, okay.
So it works like a Google search, but it's specific to the tax code, huh?
Pretty much, yeah. That's pretty much that's the idea. Absolutely. You can go ahead and yeah, go in and let's see here.
Yes.
Renew and expire. Let's see that.
Oh,
which ITNs
nice.
expire, which ITNs will not expire. You see that? There you go. It's giving you all the information. What should I do if I'm notified that my ITN will expire? When can I renew my ITN? How do I renew an expired ITN? All right. Yeah. So, yeah, it's always matters. It's just to be able to type your idea. When you find your answers, let me just give you a quick tip. And again, you see, this is something that is nice. Maybe you have a question from a client or from another peer. Everybody see this button where it says email this document? You can easily go in and send it to somebody else. Or you can copy and paste, put it in your letterhead information. Hey, dear client, you were asking me, what do I need to do to renew my ITN? Here are some steps, or anything like that. So again, take advantage of all these icons: print, export, email, save into a folder, highlight, so on and so forth. There is a good one here that we haven't talked about. Please remember this flag. What about if this is something that I'm going to look at over and over again? And you might say, I'm not going to remember now what the digits are, but I want to look at this in the future. So just flag it. You keep it in this section over here. See, you simply put in a bookmark of where things are. And in the future, even if you go back to do another search or you log out, you log back in, hey, I want to get back to my listing of ITINs that are going to expire, how to renew, so on and so forth. And then you have this information anytime at your fingertips. All right. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, nice. Another question here is, what's like, they're basically saying, why don't I just go to the IRS website and search answers? What's the point of having like another system like this?
Excellent question. Yeah, one of the things, and you might remember I mentioned at the beginning that some of the state revenue departments, including and also the IRS, rely on Checkpoint because the updating process in Checkpoint, let me put it this way. If there is a ruling, a court ruling, a revenue ruling that came up in the morning today, if you check Checkpoint in the afternoon, it will be there.
Nice.
That's how fast the updates are. If you go even to the IRS website, sometimes it might be confusing, it might not be clear, or you might just go back and say, oh, this was updated in 2017. So you found it on the IRS website, but it might not be current. So that's even the reason why the IRS uses Checkpoint, because it says, hey, this is always current. They can go back, look at the latest information, and then post it in their website. We have certain situations, the Connecticut Department of Revenue, they use Checkpoint for a while. If you go to their website, it's never current. They say, hey, we're just having issues or resources, whatever it is. So, they rely on Checkpoint for you to go in and make sure you find all your answers. So yeah, even if they offer the service and the service is great, the IRS website is fantastic, Department of Revenues, it might not be completely updated as fast as you might see it with Checkpoint. The other thing is that here you have the analysis, you have the examples, you have the worksheets, you have pretty much everything in one place to help you with your practice.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, that makes sense. That way you don't have to be struggling to find answers.
Exactly, that is true. Now, the other piece here that is really useful, it's actually your, if you go here, you can easily go ahead and just look for the code section, look for the case, look for rulings, even look for an IRS publications. Pretty easy to go here and say, hey, I'm looking for publication 17, and here it is your publication 17, right? If you want to find it, just like you will find it on the IRS website, it is here. The beauty is you can save it into folders. You can go ahead and put notes on it, do different things, something that you might not be able to do on the IRS website. Okay, so if you say, no, I missed my publications, I missed this, no, just go back to Checkpoint, simply use the right tool here on the right-hand side of the screen, and you will have all the resources that the IRS offer. There is something else here, especially with all the changes that we had with the forms. This one is called the Form Line Finder. And many of you experienced this during the last tax season and say, hey, my 1040 changed. I'm not sure what line 11 is anymore. So you can go ahead and enter this information, and that's what the program is going to do. And it's going to show you, hey, this is alimony received, anything like that. And it's going to be talking about this topic in more detail. So that's something that definitely is going to help you. Just looking at the line and linking to the desk books or the tax handbook for additional information. All right.
Are people able to do like a trial of Checkpoint if they wanted to test it out themselves?
Absolutely. Yeah, many times if you go to the login page, let me go here. Let me share a different screen. Okay. Let me see. Sorry about that. Share. Let's see. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There is yeah, absolutely. There is a free trial. Let me see here. They can go ahead, try it out, see how they like it, and go right from there. And remember, we also have discounted price if you are a member of Latino Tax Pro. So make sure when you go to Las Vegas in a few weeks to stop by our booth, and you can take advantage of additional discounts there. But sure, if you want to just take a look, grab a trial and try it yourself, that is a way to do it. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah.
Now let's go back here and let's take a look at a couple more things. Remember that you have access to newsletters in Checkpoint, and you can get them by email. That's another thing where you say, hey, I want to get, I'm familiar with E&Y and I want to get their newsletters. Am I sharing the screen, by the way?
No, I was just gonna say that.
I noticed, yes, something was missing here. So let me go back and click on this. There you go. Now you should see it. And if you go to the news section, you can go on, take a look at the different newsletters from Checkpoint. And again, the beauty of it is you can go to options and decide which newsletters you want to receive. You have the federal tax update. Tax Watch is for pending and enacted legislation. E&Y, let's say that you're only interested in learning either something specific to a country or something specific to a state. You can always do that and say, I have a client from Colombia and I'm interested in getting all the updates from anything that is going on in Colombia or anything that is going on in Arizona. You can simply customize Checkpoint to send you updates only on those two topics, right? So take advantage of that. And also Checkpoint, if you have let's say, you just want to follow up anything related to ITNs, you can always schedule a search. And it is creating like your own newsletter. If you go here to schedule a search, you can have the program run a news search every Thursday or depending whatever day of the month you want and send you an email. So with Checkpoint, you can create your own newsletters, look at the topics that are important to you, and always be current, right? So yeah, again, it's a very flexible program for you to go in and find whatever you need to, whatever the information you're looking for. If we go into tools, we actually have calculators. Now we can find tons of calculators on the web, but here there are some that are really, really good. Let's say retirement, maybe require minimum distributions. So you can go in, and when you look at this, you have these sliders, and you can say, oh, what about if my client has $100,000 or $200,000 instead of 100,000? So you can easily, by working with these sliders, organize your inputs, right? See the answers immediately. And from there, you can create a nice report that you can send to your client. See where it says view report, you can put it in your letterhead information and make it look nice. You also have something here called iTables, right? For applicable federal rates, valuation tables. And last, you have a section here called e-form arrest. Let me go to Internet Explorer really quick.
Okay, nice.
To show it, because with Google Chrome, I have to do a quick install, and it takes a minute, but oh, what am I doing wrong? Let me go back and log in. There you go. Now let me share the screen. Where did it go? Okay, here it is. Yeah, and last, if you go into e-forms, you will have a good collection of forms, all federal, all states, Canada, Puerto Rico, pretty much since 1998. So even if you have your own compliance software, you might say, hey, Herman, when I go into my compliance software, I only have federal forms, but I need a sales and use form from California, right? So you might have quite a few forms in there, but not necessarily sales and use. What you can do, simply go here, click on, oops, wrong state, sorry, California, and you can actually just go here. You see, sales and use tax return, short form sales and use. All these will be interactive. So in other words, you can create clients, keep them in the database. Once you set up the client, you can simply add forms to it, and all the information is going to populate. It is not a full compliance software because the data is not going to go from the schedules into the main form, but at least it will have the basic calculations. So even if you say, all right, this and this, you can see how the program is doing the calculations for you. It will have instructions, it will have publications. Again, it will offer thousands and thousands of forms that sometimes we need to go either to the IRS website or the state website, print a PDF, do it manually, or just go with a PDF and start doing all these calculations manually. With e-forms, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You will have a resource to help you look at all the forms and save them, print them out, export them into PDF, and then attach them to the main form. All right.
Cool. Thank you.
Excellent. So any questions so far?
Yeah, let's see. No, I don't see any more here. I think people are just intrigued by all the different resources that exist. Because I have a question for you. Could this be overwhelming? Like it feels at times if you don't know how to navigate Checkpoint, it could be too much for somebody if they don't know how to do it. What do you think about
That is true. That is true. However, we actually have great training resources, and I'm glad you mentioned it because when you go into Checkpoint, just remember here, if you just go to the login page, you will actually have access to our training website. That's another idea. Here you see what it says on-demand training. And yeah, just like any program, at the beginning, you look at Excel and say, like, what do I do? And once you're getting familiarized with the system, while you're learning how to use it, you can easily go in and say, my goodness, this is really powerful, right? Just sometimes we might use Excel only a tiny percentage, or we might use Word, but the more we learn about it, is how we see the power and the benefits that it can give us. So the same thing happens with Checkpoint. Okay? You can take Checkpoint, you can take a full hour. If you need CPE credits, you can take a very short class, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 20 minutes, and obviously we have support. We have many different things that can help you. So absolutely, don't say, oh my goodness, this is overwhelming. It might be the very first time, but you don't have to use every single feature. If you just go into the search screen and type it, just type your question just like you will do it in Google, that's more than enough. You can just learn Checkpoint in 5 minutes. It's as simple as that. Mm-hmm.
Will you guys be showcasing Checkpoint in Las Vegas at the Tax Fest?
Absolutely. We can do additional training. Remember, we're going to have prizes at the booth. And we all will be there. They're going to be probably 3-4 of us. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out. And especially if maybe for trials or anything like that. Here I have, does everybody see this? My peer, my coworker, Ayla Carbush, she will be more than happy to send you, or to any of you, send additional information on the package. And you can also reach out to me at any time. Let me go ahead and put in my email address. Feel free to reach out, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. And again, looking forward to see everybody in a few weeks.
Yeah, thank you so much, German. This was a good way for us to see how you could find answers. And it's good to know that there's ways that there's training so you don't get overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. But the best thing to do is go to Las Vegas, go to the Tax Fest. German's going to be there at the booth. It's going to be right next to Latino Tax Pro. And he's going to have speaking sessions too. So look out for those. They're nice in the breakout rooms. And it's going to be a good experience for you to see all the different tools that exist. There's going to be a lot of good topics. And 3 days of learning, networking, and fun. July 30th through August 1st in Las Vegas at the MGM. So I hope to see a lot of people there. And I can't wait to hang out with you out there in Vegas, hermano. It's going to be good.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Y muchas gracias a todos. Si alguien tiene alguna pregunta en español también, por favor, contácteme y con muchísimo gusto.
Así es. Ya también hablamos español. Good point. Gracias, Germán. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you. Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye.